said what I am. I don't know the man. Somebody stole my soul. They left and took my home.
You guys are in a band, aren't you?
Yes.
What's your band called?
I forgot them.
It's your progress, it's your band, mate.
Yeah, Planet for
Beatles.
Sale, and it's
yeah.
my provocative.
It's your little baby, isn't it?
It is my baby.
Planet for Sale.
Planet for Sale.
Where did that name come from?
The original concept of all the songs were that we built this musical universe as a group, not just me by myself, but with all of us involved. And we figured if we're going to base it around anything, it would be about what's happening now and what's been happening in regards to what a fragile world we're living in, and how everything, including people and their morality even, is up for sale. So everything in this world that you're living in is for sale, and that's what the songs reflect on. They tell a story, but what they reflect on is elements of vulnerability and human sacrifice, and people selling out other people, and the misconception of love and what love is in the modern world and what love really is, and all of that. And we all have the same problems, doubt, money, loneliness. I've never met anybody who didn't suffer from loneliness. So bringing those things, using real people's stories and crafting them as songs, that is something that people relate to. People respond to them really, really well. And the way that Louis, Theo and Jamie, these guys they do their part and they bring their own thing to the music. They're as equally responsible for the sound and for everything else, and I couldn't do it without them at all. At all.
It's a joint effort.
Definitely.
And it shows in music, and it's been great to be here in this environment and watch you all mold together.
Melt into each other's
Mold.
together.
It's been great.
It's good to have you.
Well, thanks, man. How do you find balance between paying rent and playing music, which I think every musician struggles with?
Go to work.
Just work really fucking hard. And just, I don't know, channel that miserable energy into playing and singing. That's how it goes for me. I've always struggled with money, but I've never struggled to support the band.
But then after having the little one and whatnot, it was a case of
fantastic,
being made redundant,
and
then finding a job. But the things, I think you get to junctions in life like that, and it happens for a reason. Now, if I hadn't have been redundant, I wouldn't have got into the job that I'm working in today, and be working with a fantastic team. And in addition to that, I get to see my family rather than rush home or spend days and evenings or weeks away from work, from home. So,
that's great.
It happens for a reason.
It ain't over.
for dreams, love, pain, great patience. Control my happiness. This is the world, welcome, it ain't over. Here we go. It's all that for me to see. I don't know what it means. Started on the sun, feature here. Keep one fever. It's all that for me to see. I don't know what it means. About the feature, ready for the liquor.
What are some of the big challenges of being a musician?
Finding the time to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say get yourself out there and listen.
Get support.
Get support, yeah.
Get support. It's really easy to be ignored if you're simply an independent nobody. It's really easy for people to just be like, yeah, okay, I'll listen to it later. Whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, I say that we are getting quite overwhelming support at the moment. You
As
know,
you should,
which
yeah.
we weren't 2 years ago, but we are starting to. So
Absolutely.
yeah, really grateful for
Yeah.
that. Just saying that. But yeah, no.
We love our fans.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's so important to engage with everyone, and if they've taken the time to listen to you and appreciate you,
Yeah.
and then it's, you know, like the journey started. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say that's an advantage with social media that you didn't have before. You know, big bands would make it, put out an album, or even not so big bands, and then it's like, well, not many people are at their shows, so how can they get that kind of conversation started?
It's just a completely different industry now. I mean, the likes of, I don't know, old bands, and I think it was Cliff Richard was saying this the other day, on the weekend, during an interview, that it's a completely different industry in the sense that you'd knock out an album and you'd have a record deal, and then you'd have another, because of that record deal, you'd end up making another album, and then you continuously make albums. Now, it's like you chuck in frisbees the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
There's my music.
Yeah.
Everybody else says, there's my music, and you're just waiting for somebody to catch that, and then there's no continuation now.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's because there's the amount of music that people want to produce to get themselves listened to out there, and that there's streaming services, downloads,
Yeah,
and
there's massive demand. Yeah.
demand everywhere, and
Yeah.
so much demand being piled on people. It's very easy to get lost in a crowd, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically just too much of the same thing.
So
So
it's knowing what the
yeah.
right thing to do in order to kind of separate yourself from everybody else.
Yeah.
Knowing-
exactly.
Because you can do
Yeah.
that with your music, you can do that with your lyric writing, you can do all that, but it doesn't mean to say no one's going to fucking
Yeah.
hear it.
It's a matter of finding the balance of what the public would like, and in a sense also what
Yeah.
the music industry would like.
Exactly. I mean, bands are not, bands were made and were established way before the age of social media. You know, they're just there to entertain people live, and to sort of to take people's energy and amplify it, times 10, they're not meant to social media. The same effect is not meant to happen. The same emotional effect is not meant to happen via social media. It can't. So it's very rare you see that someone gets away with a live broadcast that changes their life forever, or changes the life of their followers forever. I mean, yeah, sure, it's make the music available to as many people as you want.
Yeah.
But personally, I think you sort of, I don't want to say sell, but you lose a part of your musical dignity when you're a band, when you emphasize on social media. I think social media is good, but is not necessarily fantastic.
No, but you look at the likes of the Levelers or something like that, they're a perfect model of what the band is all about. I mean, you've got great music, great writers, great characters, and not only that, they've got a great following that they've built up over the years. They've been some fantastic venues. I mean, the moment they played Glastonbury, that was it for them. They hit it, and then they're still on the road every single year, doing different things, whether it's showing like doing a cinema showing of like a documentary, and then playing acoustic after to playing live venues and stuff, and they're constantly churning over merchandise, and you've got to go to these places in order to buy it. Yeah, they've got stuff on their website.
Exactly.
You go to these venues, you get the content that you can't get anywhere else, and I think that's what bands have got to do now, and they really kind of got to be artistic every single time.
Exactly.
And make it unique and something special. Because they play the same songs. They release a brand new album or a few new songs, but people want to hear the classics, but they also want to see the new artwork. They want to see the new T-shirts. They want to see the additional content like CDs and the limited edition records that you can get. And every time I go there, I friggin' suck it into it, and I love it.
Because you feel like you're buying part of the band, something that you love, and you're supporting it, and you get to wear it.
You get to be there.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I was saying. Exactly.
Yeah, you get a fight of like the number one fan or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
You get what?
Like you get a fight amongst fans of saying, "Oh, I'm the number one fan."
There's
of
a
that
cult
particular
though. Being a Levelers fan,
it's like a culture, So the greatest bands, greatest artists throughout history, they didn't just create a live album. Lou is exactly right. They created a culture. And once you're part of that culture. I remember the first time I heard Zeppelin, I was like, man, I just want to listen to Zeppelin and do everything Zeppelin way.
Yeah.
The whole, I was just completely taken by that, and till this day, I'm not bothered about what Led Zeppelin's doing on social media. Like what I do want is the original vinyls that I like to collect, like eventually, and that's not part of the whole social media thing.
Jimmy Page is pretty good at sorting all that out.
He actually came out recently and said bands have to perform live. Like, it is quite unacceptable to force them into virtual gigs and things. The bands are alive. We are live elements. We are live beings.
Jimmy Page found Raw Blood. If it hadn't been for that and his sort of kind of support there, they would have been as big as what they are.
Did you always know you wanted to do this full time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Louis?
Everything's a full-time commitment if you want it in your life. So.
Well said. Yeah, totally agree. What are you working on right now?
So I'm working on 3 new songs, and Theo is working very closely with me on one of them. It's called Fly Away. The good thing about this one is everybody gets to write their own part equally.
That's cool.
Which is a bit different from like what we're used to.
The bad thing about it is my computer's CPU can't handle all of Bruce's fucking guitar tracks on it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
How many?
A lot. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll try and play it. It's just like
15.
12.
No. Well,
I don't even have 12 guitarists in the band. Why are you creating shit you can't fucking make again?
How many are you going to hire?
An orchestra if I have to.
When we get back to normality, what do you hope to achieve?
Well, to put it in numbers, I want to book exactly like something between 20 to 30 shows for the band. Yeah.
In the space of a year?
In the space of a year.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Yeah,
A lot of them are.
Yeah, so London, South, Bristol, you know,
Yeah.
Reading. Yeah,
Do
yeah.
a UK tour. Fuck
Um,
it, go to Scotland.
Yeah, well, could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the boys are up for it, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
I'll drive the van.
Oh, thanks.
You gotta come
Saves me
along.
driving.
You gotta come along.
Exactly.
You're the only one qualified to document the whole thing, I think.
Nice fucking road trip, man.
Saves me driving.
Yeah.
We need to get a van,
We'll bring
shagging
them-
wagon.
We'll bring a majestic van.
This is like, yeah, majestic. You imagine that?
Fucking full of wine. Dear me.
Yeah.
What's the contrast of Planet for Sale and the current environment?
So,
We've talked about this a few times.
yeah. So Rhino, which is the most recent release, speaks pretty heavily on isolation,
Yeah.
and but at the same time, it uses an animal that is facing extinction to create that contrast.
Nice.
And the song talks about loneliness, talks about not feeling yourself, losing, you know, your, nobody noticed me, nobody pleases me, I'm just a rhino without a horn. You know, it puts that bleeding animal in that situation next to someone who feels isolated from the society, and it puts the two worlds together, but obviously with a fun tone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but no, well, it's not just a fun tone; it's a realistic tone, isn't
Mm,
it? So
it
you're
is.
putting those two images together, aren't you?
yeah,
Not getting paid, not getting laid. Well,
Exactly.
you're not going to get paid. You're not going to go out
Yeah.
and meet other people. You're not going to meet out and do fun things.
Yeah.
Just be isolated.
yeah,
That's what I get, anyway. But
Yeah.
everyone.
I think that isolation speaks about the whole situation we're in at the moment. In terms
Yeah.
of
Absolutely.
because we've kind of sort of isolated the environment as well in a way. You know, we're not paying as much attention to the environment, the way we should be. I say it again. You know, I'm very grateful, and I know I'm not perfect. I know I have my flaws, but these guys, you know, I want to grow old with these guys. Like we want
That's
to,
lovely.
I want to do
Yeah.
this for the rest of my life with these guys, and you know, like Theo, for example, the way he multitasks and manages so many different things. To
Yeah.
me, that's inspiring.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Louis, you know, he's a father, he's a musician, he's got a musical background, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
Jamie is a man of the house, you know, he takes care of so much outside the band, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
So every time I feel low, or if I feel like I want to be ungrateful, I kind of think about them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, just take a breath and get on with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can people find your music and your socials?
Okay, just Google search or Bing search us, Planet for Sale Band or Planet for Sale Music, and you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Instagram, Planet for Sale.
Mhm. Everything is
s-
at official Planet for Sale.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys have got a big gig tomorrow.
Mm.
First one during the second fucking lockdown bullshit.
Sold out, third
So-
gig in a row.
Amazing. Oh, that's gonna really
Yeah.
make you feel appreciated.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're gonna be there because
Yeah, man.
yeah, because it's so
definitely.
good to have you. You like the music, you know us, you know what we want.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
here if I didn't.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
thank you for
Yeah.
coming down
Thank
for
you.
the whole
Yeah, no,
weekend
thank
just
you,
to cover
like-
this.
To be here during your practice is, oh, man, like, I'm just gonna be honest, I've not been around live music probably since the same as you guys have, but you practice together. And just to be around music with depth that you fucking feel,
Thank you.
that's so good, and to hear the wall of sound that makes you feel alive. Just even here, not without the gig, it's so fucking good. It's so important. Go to gigs.
absolutely.
Go to
Absolutely.
gigs. Make
Yeah.
music work. Go to gigs.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Okay,
man.
thank you for
It's been
having
great.
thank you for
for
being
having
here.
Sorry if it's gone on too long, but I
No,
just
it's been
love
great.
chatting to you all
It's
so
nice to be
much.
able to sit down and answer some questions together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's been
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
cool.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice one.
Cheers.
Nice one.
Yes, mate.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Wicked. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
I gotta quickly do something. God damn
Okay.
it.
Eat a poo.
I Thank you. I want to give a shout to